Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. It is that time of the month again. We are now at the end of July, beginning of August, so I want to do my August TBR game to pick my books for the next month. If you've not seen this before, I will link the playlist up above and down below so you can check out the previous videos. If you go back right to the very beginning, I explain all the rules. Let's just get started. So we have got the board here. As you can see, my 20-cent coin right up the top there. I lost the dice as well, so we're just doing this game on the phone, whatever that's called. Anyway, roll the dice and we have got 4. 1, 2, 3. No, 4 all the way down to green. Green is going to be Animal Companion and it is a character prompt. 1 minute timer on the clock. We need to find a book with an animal companion. So I'm going to vlog style take you over to my very messy filming setup and take you to my shelves where we find a book with an animal companion. This is a major struggle because I don't know my books very well and I haven't read the vast majority of the books on these shelves. So it makes picking one with an animal companion really difficult. And also I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing because I don't know if I'm holding the camera where I'm supposed to be holding. I don't know. I wish you guys could like yell through the screen and tell me what has an animal companion and what doesn't. And if I don't get this, I'm gonna have to figure out what a punishment for this would be because I still don't have my list of all the books that I own. Help! I don't know if I have any animal companions. Ah. I'm sure I do, but I just can't find them. Is there any in here? There's a belt on the ground because I'm a messy bitch. And I'm out of time. So I ran out of time, which means I'm going to have to figure out a punishment for myself. And because I don't have my punishment cup, which lists every book that I own, I haven't created a new one since moving. What I'm going to do is just sort of run my hand over my bookshelf and whatever I land on is what I'm going to be reading, provided I haven't already read it. So closing my eyes, running my hand over my books, we are going to pick this one. Okay, After Ever Happy, I'm obviously not going to read that because I haven't read the 2 books before it. So we're going to try again, running my hand over the books, and we are picking this one. She Who Became the Sun. Okay, I DNF'd that, so I'm not picking up that. This is not going well. So, again, run my hand over the books. I don't want to pick any of these Fairy Loot and Illumicrate ones up the top because I have another video planned where I go through some of those. So, let's pick A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. You know what, I'm okay with this pick. This is a book where I recently bought the 2nd and 3rd book in this series, so it might be fun to make a sort of series smash video out of this one, but A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson follows not Andy Bell. It follows a girl named Pippa Fitz-Amobi. I'm just going to read you the blurb because I don't know anything about this series. And it says, the case is closed. 5 years ago, schoolgirl Andy Bell was murdered by Sal Singh. The police know he did it. Everyone in town knows he did it. But having grown up in the same small town that was consumed by the murder, Pippa Fitz-Amobi isn't so sure. When she chooses the case as the topic for her final year project, she starts to uncover secrets that someone in town desperately wants to stay hidden. And if their real killer is still out there, how far will they go to keep it from the truth? So, a good little murder mystery. That sounds right up my alley. Let's go with this. So that was a very unsuccessful first roll in every sense of the word. So let's get second roll underway and hope for better results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you freaking kidding me? I was so excited to actually be near the top. But anyway, blue. We are right back down the bottom of the board. We've got blue, which is a genre prompt, and I have to find a literary fiction. Bloody hell, I don't want to read one. We've got a 1 minute timer on the clock. Let's go and find a literary fiction, show you the mess that is my floor at the moment from other videos that I've been planning. And let's see. There's nothing really literary up there. You know what? Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I think that's like a literary sort of contemporary fiction, I think. Let's go with that. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This is a book that Ben actually got me. It's one that I haven't read yet. I'm pretty sure it's sort of like contemporary literary sort of book. I don't know, let's just pretend that this is right. As for the blurb, it says, Eleanor Oliphant leads a simple life. She wears the same clothes to work every day, eats the same meal deal for lunch every day, and buys the same 2 bottles of vodka to drink every weekend. Eleanor Oliphant is happy. Nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled existence, except sometimes everything. Apparently, it's supposed to be quite like Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata, which I read recently and really enjoyed. I'll link up above and down below the video where I talk about it a bit more. So yeah, I'm keen to actually finally read this, and I love the cover. It's like a papery sort of material, which you don't see a lot. So yeah, this is the second book. On to roll number 3, and at this point I'm really aiming for like this ladder up here, but I don't think I'm gonna make it to it. So let's open up the dice app on my phone, give that a roll. 1. Okay, great, green, cool, 1. We love that. So we are going back to a character prompt, and the character, it has to have an LGBT character. So 1 minute timer on the clock. Let's go and find a book with an LGBT main character, which, you know what, this proves that I don't actually know a lot about the books that I own, because I can't think of any off the top of my head, which is quite irritating. I wish you guys could yell through the thing and be like, that has an LGBT main character, or, I don't know, help me. I've read all of those. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, actually, I think I could be really wrong, but this is the next book in my Sarah J Maas reread, and I think there are some LGBT main characters in A Court of Mist and Fury, so we're going with this one. Okay, so I don't know if this character comes out in this book, but I just looked it up, and there is a character in this series who does come out later on in this series, and it didn't say specifically which book, so I'm hoping it's this one. And if it's not, that character, you know, that sexual identity existed their entire life, not just the book where they came out, so I am claiming it on this one. So A Court of Mist and Fury is the second book in the Akata, or A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. It is written by Sarah J Maas, who is very much a well-known, well-loved fantasy author, and it follows Feyre, who is a huntress who goes out to who goes out into the woods one day to hunt for her family and kills a wolf. But it's the wrong wolf, because this particular wolf is a shapeshifter in the Spring Court and was a friend of the High Lord of the Spring Court, Tamlin. Tamlin decides that in retribution for Feyre killing his friend, Feyre will have to move to the Spring Court and live with him for the rest of her life, which obviously she's not super keen on. But as it is a sort of Beauty and the Beast retelling, sparks fly, romance ensues, and there's definitely an underlying sort of political and world-ending plot going at the same time, which comes into play in the second half of the book, and more so in this second book. So yeah, I'm super excited to read this as part of my Sarah J Maas reread, which I'm doing at the moment, and I'll link up above and down below a video where I talk about that in a bit more detail. So this is book number 3, and at the moment the TBR is looking pretty damn chonky, so let's hope for a sort of smaller book for the next prompt. So I accidentally pressed the button on the thing before I actually got up here to do all the stuff, but okay, let's roll the dice again and hope we get something like a 6. Bloody hell, another 1? My god, if only I was at the other end of that ladder. Anyway, yellow. We've got yellow, and that is a author prompt, and we have to find a book with a female author, which I basically have my pick of the litter on this front because almost all the books I own are written by women, so that's easy. But I'm still putting a 1 minute timer on the clock, so let's take you back over. Sorry for the messy ground, I keep apologizing. And let's find a book with a female author. Oh look, it's pretty much all of them, but I don't want to read any of those because that's for another video. So let's go down here and find a smaller book that's going to be an easy read written by a female author. You know what? I'm going to read this trilogy anyway in this month because I want to do a series smash out, so let's just pick this one. It's an easy pick. For a book with a female author, I've gone for Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I'm not going to say what this one's about because I haven't read this one yet, and if I say what this one's about, I'm going to spoil it for myself. So these are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading together, and maybe if the last prompt can fit the last book, that would be ideal. So fingers crossed. And we have our last roll. I'm so mad because I was so close to the end and getting a £10 gift card to Waterstones, but now I'm not. So last roll, 3. Okay, you know what? Not the worst, but not the best. 2, 3. We've got purple. Purple is a cover prompt, and it has to have a main character on the cover. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's get the 1 minute timer up. Find a main character on the cover. Again, I think that's kind of a thing with Illumicrate that happens. You know what? I've read After We Fell, so let's read After We Collided, because that's the second book in the series, and there you go, they're the two main characters on the cover, and it's going to be a super easy read, I think, that won't take much concentration. So don't judge me, we're reading After We Collided. After We Collided is the second book in the After quartet, I think it is. There's 4 books in this series. After follows Tessa and Hardin. Tessa has always been a good girl, living the life that her mother has always planned out for her. She's got the perfect boyfriend, she's got everything, and she's just about to go off to Washington State University, where she meets Hardin, who is a bad boy covered in tattoos, but is enthralling to her and keeps reeling her in. So she makes a number of bad decisions in order to build a relationship with him, and the series just kind of follows their relationship and all the tumultuous twists and turns that happen as a result. So basically, I'm obsessed with the movies. I'm reading the books at the moment now that I've sort of read up to date with all the movies, and I know the last movie is coming out in September, so maybe I'll make like a goal to read them all before the movie comes out, but it's probably unlikely because I tend to read these like very slowly, like, you know, with big, not the book slowly, I read the book fast, but I read them with big gaps in between because there's just only so much you can take with this sort of series. But anyway, I'm exhausted. Why am I exhausted? I haven't even done that much running. It's just so hot, like it's hard to breathe. But anyway, that's my 5th book. This is my TBR for the month of August. It's a little bit chunkier than I would like. There's a few sort of longer books in here, and then these two are just like middle-sized. I'm scared about this one because I know literary fiction takes me ages to read, so I know I have to like cancel out an entire week where I read this. Plus, I'm also going to Australia at the end of August, so I have to get all of these read before I go because I can't take these chonkers with me. I'm only taking my Kindle, and I'll take you through my TBR at a later point where I go through the books on my Kindle that I want to take with me to Australia. That's a separate video, but anyway, this is my TBR for the month of August. Let me know down below what you are planning to read in August, if you live your life by a TBR like I do, or if you mood read. If you mood read, tell me how, because I wish I was able to do something like that, but I would just get so overwhelmed by all the books that I own. So let me know what you're planning to read in the month of August down below. I do love to chat to you guys, and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you liked this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!